Good evening and welcome. Welcome to my live stream. Tonight, our topic is Fight CPS and Stop Taking Our Children. I'm your host, Bob Pace. And it's a warm welcome because a lot of you have gone through a lot of stress regarding what I call the child protection system. Now, the child protection system is a government entity that is supposed to protect our children from neglect and abuse, and if the family is broken up, to help the family get back together through family reunification by taking parent classes and programs. The family is the most important institute of raising children, and studies have shown the best parents are the biological parents. Now, I'm here to help you all. I've been doing this now for 18 months. I do 2 live streams a day, 7 days a week. That's 14 live streams. I'm on here Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. The weekends at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. In the evening, I'm on 7 nights a week at 7 p.m. every day of the week, Monday through Sunday. And it's all Pacific Standard Time. These live streams are 1 hour, but there's a lot we can do in 1 hour. These are interactive live streams. There's a lot that you can do. Now, you found me on Facebook, Fighting CPS. I am broadcasting on YouTube, and the room that I'm on YouTube is called CPS Defense Attorney Vince Davis. Now, I use a software application called StreamYard, and that's so that I can do a lot of things on here. Now, while you're in here, please take notes and interact with this live stream. You can do emojis. You can send thumbs up, smiley faces, hearts. You even send me stars. And I'd like you to follow me. Check it below. Write reviews. And if you want to know when I'm on, check the notification button. Now, besides that, there's 3 other ways that you can interact with this live stream. And I want to say, hello, Leica. It's morning time in South Africa. Leica is a wonderful lady who's been on my show for many, many months. She's from South Africa. Yes, this is an international live stream broadcast around the world. There are 22 countries, the latest country being Republic of Congo. But I have countries from Indonesia, Saudi Arabia, as I say, South Africa, Europe, North America, South America, in the South Pacific, New Zealand, and Australia. So I have lots of people out there. And Leica comes in here, Leighton Hartzenberg, who had a horrible case with her daughter. And she's been fighting a very corrupt system in South Africa, a very corrupt, it's an uphill battle. But she's joined my family here, and it's a warm welcome and a big hug to you, Leica. And it's so good to see you tonight. Now, you can also text me messages, and such as a comment or a question. Make sure it pertains to CPS. Please state your first name, your city or county, the state, and of course, you're from outside the United States, your country. Now, as I told you, there's 22 countries that participated in all 50 U.S. states. I've had representatives. I've also had the District of Columbia. So that's over 1,500 people that either talk to me by messaging or by calling in. And I have a number for you to call in just a moment. And also, will you please tell me about your CPS case from the beginning to where you're at? Now, another way that you can participate in this podcast is to be a guest. To be a guest on my live stream, please email our show producer, Grace, at vincentwdavis.com with the date and time you want to be on. There are 14 shows. Just say you want to be Bob's Saturday morning show or Bob's Friday night show or Bob's Wednesday morning show. You email that to Grace, and she'll send you a link to get on StreamYard. You get bounced off, use that link again because it's good for the show. And I can take up to 9 of you on live stream. So 9 of you can be talking along with me. That's 10 people. That's 10 people. And she'll tell you what to do and what not to do on the particular show. Hi, Deidre Payne. Deidre Payne is from Orange County. She does a similar live stream that I do, and she's dropped in tonight. I'm glad to see you, and I thank you for your support. Thank you for your support. It's 4:17 in the morning now in South Africa. Right now it's 7:18 on the west coast of California. So I'm awake. Um, COS, a mother who is a mother will be awake to time sometimes. That's cute, Leica. That's cute. So anyway, we have South Africa and Orange County, California in the room. We also had somebody named Kingsman, Arizona, a good mommy that came on at 10:11 this morning. I don't know where she was because I didn't see her on my morning show. And she says, please get me a new lawyer, someone suitable for my case. I'll pay for it. It's important to me, and I'm thankful. Well, let me put my number up right now, and you can call me at 626-698-0990 and talk on the show. Also, I make phone calls during the day, help out people get Vincent Davis as their attorney. And you can call that number. I make phone calls and talk to people from 8 in the morning to 10 o'clock, and then do my morning live stream. And then again, 11 to 1 o'clock, I make those calls. So if you need questions or help and need an attorney, call into that number during those times. But during the show time, you can call in and ask anything you like. Again, my number is 626-698-0990. Now, there's another number on the screen, 888-888-6582. That's the law office of Vincent W. Davis, who's my attorney. I want to thank him for the generosity of what he does to help others with CPS case. He's been fighting CPS for 39 years. He's a pit bull of attorney. He's a trial attorney. He's gotten back thousands of kids back to families. He also, when your case is over, does a civil lawsuit, either in state court or federal court. And he's won millions of dollars against CPS. He's not afraid to stand up to CPS or go anywhere that people need him, He has really reasonable rates. His rate is $500 an hour, and his retainer for LA County, California is $5,000. But it's going to vary depending on your location. If you're in another state, he has to pay for his airfare to get in there, the ground transportation from the airport to the hotel, and from the hotel to the court. Also, he has his hotel bill where he will stay and the food he's eating. That's all he's asking for, plus his legal fees. And, you can call in the 888-888-6582 and talk to him. And you can hire him on the spot. I truly recommend him. There's no better. He's trained in the area of juvenile law, family law, and dependency law. That's the kind of attorney you want. My rule number 1 says you need to get a professional attorney who is schooled and trained in juvenile law, family law, and dependency law, and who's fought CPS and won. Also, it helps that that same attorney has done civil lawsuits and won money. In fact, those are my 2 important questions when you're shopping for an attorney. You should get 3 quotes. I just gave the quote for Vincent Davis. He meets all the requirements. So all you have to do now is contact 2 more. Your first question is, you ask them if they are a professional, licensed juvenile law, family law, dependency lawyer, and have won cases against CPS and gotten children back. If the answer is yes, the next question you want to ask them, after the case is over, have you ever sued CPS in a civil lawsuit, either in state court or federal court, and won money back from CPS? If the answer is yes, then you got you're all set now to talk to attorney further. Make sure you get 3 references, even Mr. Davis. Ask for his references. Check them out. Then you got to meet with them and see what the chemistry is like. Very important you have good chemistry with the attorney. Now, Vincent Davis does a lot of live streams. You can call that number, 888-888-6582, and they'll tell you his show times. They'll tell you my show times, and they'll tell the other person in this room from Orange County. Where is she go? I thought she was right here. Oh, I'm on the wrong screen. Deidre Payne, who does a show on Wednesdays. She does a show on Wednesdays. Now, Leica says she is on her fourth lawyer. I'm devastated about this. I went and digged why and discovered that every lawyer I get charge towards me after a while. I found out that apparently there are. And I'm so sorry that you're having the worst luck with getting a good attorney. Apparently, where I misbehave, I'm shocked to my core that I asked my lawyer, wow, may I also see those? I guess I'd try to figure out, there's voice recordings and videos of her. And I don't know if they're in a good light or what that you're trying to say, Leica. But thank you for sharing that. Thank you so much for all you that come into my room. I have a group of you, they're like family that come into my room all the time. And I'm so happy that you're here tonight to talk to me. And this is an interactive podcast. You can call in, you can be a guest, or you can write text messages. Now, one thing nice about calling in or being a guest, you'll qualify for a free 15-minute consultation with Mr. Davis, a private Zoom call. And all you have to do is call in to my number, 626-698-0990, or be a guest, and you will qualify. And I'll ask you if you want to talk to Vincent Davis, and then I'll tell you how you can set that up. So I can say how you can set up. Apparently, her recordings and videos are negative. So I'm glad you saw that. And so maybe you can help correct what people perceive of you, Leica. It's a very emotional roller coaster. People can get very emotional, and Leica is too. And I don't blame you. I was emotional with my case. My 3 children, and I have 6 children I've helped raise, and the 3 older ones have families and are doing well in life. But my 3 younger ones were stolen and trafficked from me into foster care. The CPS entity that I was involved in was very corrupt. It's the Orange County Child Protection Services in California. Very, very, very corrupt. And they took my children that weren't in danger. They were in school. One was at a private high school, and they were terrible. They were terrible, and they retaliate too. CPS workers retaliate. They lie. They do deception, and it's all because of money. They want to make lots and lots of money. But anyway, I'm here to help you with many topics I've been looking at. I can share with you. Whether you have a 160 hearing, a 180 hearing, or have to file a 388 motion, or maybe you want to understand the Indian Child Welfare Act of 1978, or maybe there's something else that comes across that you want to talk about. Now, I have 5 rules. One of my first one is get yourself an attorney. They will appoint you a court-appointed attorney, but that attorney will not do you any good. They're not trained in juvenile law, family law, or dependency law. They're criminal attorneys just starting out. They work for CPS, and they're loaded with at least 30 or more clients. They don't have time to talk to you outside of the courtroom. So that's a real drawback. Also, they would not actively fight because they work for CPS. And a lot of times the judge is crooked. Now, the judge is supposed to be a referee. He's probably supposed to decide what the plaintiff is saying and what the defense is saying. But a lot of times he will side with the plaintiff, the CPS side. They are their lawyers are very good and well paid for. It's a lot of money. And if you don't have money, you're at a hardship. And I know a lot of you are in like that situation. I was too. I had lost my job through no fault of my own in 2010. And first time in my life, after 45 years of working and saving money for my home, I was hopelessly lost. I did not know that my in-laws, my wife's mother, father, her 3 sisters, and her brother were making false accusations from Ohio to California. They are the lay people. There's 2 kinds of reporting. There are the mandatory reporters, which are your professionals like firemen, policemen, school teachers, counselors, principals, anybody that is professionally working with children. They take classes on learning how to recognize neglect and abuse and how to report it. They have to by law with their job. So they are the mandated reporters, the professionals. The other kind of individuals are the lay people, the people like your friends, your relatives, your mothers and fathers and those kinds of things. They don't have any formal training, and a lot of them use it to their own means, meaning they want to corrupt, they want to upset the spouse. Like one spouse hates the other spouse, so they retaliate. And 50% of the time they get it wrong. Now, with the mandated, it's about 75% that gets it right and 25 wrong. Now, Leica says, my child was taken wrongfully. Every lawyer said this openly. Till today, CPS cannot give proof of the phone call that I made, as we all can listen to it. That phone call will prove my innocence. Yeah, I'm sorry that happened to you, Leica. I really am sorry about that. But anyway, I'm so glad that you're in my room. And we have 5 rules. I've been talking about my first rule number 1, the attorney. The second one is document, document, document. Document everything. Write down. Get yourself a notebook. Put all your paperwork in there. Hole punch it. You should get at least 3 inches with dividers. You put all your court papers in there. A really important paper that you create is going to be a time log. It's an incident time log of incidents that happened to you by CPS workers, the police, the school, anybody that you had an incident with. You devote the first line to whether it was a phone call or was it somebody that you met, and then you put the date and time, and you put down the people that are involved. That all goes on the first line. The second line will be a summary of what the incident's about. Then the third line is the outcome. Then you skip a couple lines, and you do the next one and the next one and the next one. If you don't know the outcome, come back later and fill it out. Leave it blank. But the incident timeline log is the most precious document you can have, because it'll tell you about your case, because your case will probably go at least 3 years. Mine was 3 years. And I spent the first year of fighting false criminal charges that were brought, that were duplicated over CPS. And CPS was not going to do anything until the criminal charges were addressed. So that's how bad and how rough they are. They lie, they're not transparent, and they retaliate. I had a social worker that didn't have a high school education, that was very young and naive, and all she talked about was the bonuses she received for her new eyelashes, her makeup, her accessories, her clothes, her BMW car. That's all she talked about. That's all that's important to her in her world. She did not care about family reunification or about a family. That's the rude awakening when you're dealing with these animals. The bad case of CPS workers, they're animals. If you don't think so, all you have to do is think about the case of the pink ladies in Prescott, Arizona. 8 social workers, all females, decided to purchase pink t-shirts, not because of breast awareness, but because they want to put a message on them. They stenciled on the front that they're professional child kidnappers. And on the back, they said, parents, you know where your children are at? And they paraded around all the big stores, Costco, Walmart, Kmart, Sears, JCPenney's, Best Buy, May Company, Target. I can go on and on and on. They were caught, and they were fired by the city, along with the director of the Department of Children's Services, is what they call their CPS there in Prescott, Arizona. So they're animals. They are animals, and I'm afraid. I've only talked to one social worker in the last 18 months that's been on here. Her name was Carol. She's from Maryland. She had a degree in clinical psychology and 6 months of training with the Maryland CPS. And she was horrified to hear what I had to say, and she told me about her program. Now, there are good programs out there. I'm not saying they're not. And we do need CPS to protect our children, because over 1,000 children every day go unreported that should have been reported. It is bad out there. And right now, DOJ, is a new government agency that President Trump set up, is investigating social services. That's how CPS got started. Congress in 1962 passed a law that the social services would create with the social workers a department to protect our children from neglect or abuse. It wasn't until 1974 that the laws were passed. So it had a slow start. Now, Leica says, my child was taken away wrongfully. Every lawyer said this openly till today. CPS cannot give proof of the phone call that made so we all can listen to it. That phone call will prove my innocence. Yes, animals. They are animals. I mean this out of the bottom of my heart. I believe through Leica. And I'm sorry if I offend any social workers that are in here, but I'd love to have them come forward and talk about their case. I also have a foster mom that comes in here all the time. Her name is Betty Jo from the state of Montana, and she's trying to get her brother's child back, her niece from Nebraska, and it's been a long fighting battle. And so she's been on here a lot and tells about her case and so forth. Now, I was talking about documentation. So you got to put all your records, all your court records, your court paperwork, then all the drug tests you may take, all the programs you take, the domestic violence, drug rehab, those kinds of things. Then the parenting classes, the certificates. Again, you need to put that all in the notebook. That notebook becomes a very valuable resource for you to use against them because you won't remember 6 months or 3 years from now about the incidents. Now we move on to Rule 3. Rule 3 is a very important one because you do not want them in your home. Your home is your castle. Your civil rights are you don't have to open the door to anybody. You tell your family and your friends don't open the door. The reason being is that too many bad things have been happening lately. A black Air Force man was shot in the chest 5 times and killed on the spot because he opened the door. And he was a mistaken identity for domestic violence. He was on his phone talking to his fiancée FaceTime and died on the phone. And she is really devastated by that. And so is his mother in Alabama. But I'm telling you, it isn't safe to open the door. There are a lot of bad police out there. I'm not saying all police are bad. We need them. I'm not saying all CPS is bad. We need them. But it's hard to decide who's bad or good, so it's best not to open the door. Tell your family members not to open the door. And they'll eventually leave, and then you go out and see if there was a card or who they were. They'll leave something behind. Then what you want to do is get yourself an attorney. You don't want to talk to these animals without an attorney present. It's very important to have an attorney present that can tell you what to do and what not to do. Also, if you have an attorney, CPS will back off. The child protection system will back off. Now, it's 23 minutes after the hour. We still have a good half hour left of this live stream. My phone number is open. No one's on it. 626-698-0990. I love to have anybody call. That'd be really great. I love them to share their case and something that might help others out there. This is a room where everybody helps one another. It's supposed to be positive here. A lot of people come in here to be cheered up because it's really devastating out there. I have Margaret Smith, who's hired Vincent Davis, who has her daughter, Britannia, I think it is. I have so many people here that have talked on the show, that have helped out other people in here. This is a place where you help one another. We care about one another. And it's not very good out there. It's not very good. Now, I've been doing this for 18 months. I've talked to over 1,500 people. And it's been tough. It's been tough at times. Now, going back to rule number 3, you don't open the door. You don't speak to them. There's only 3 ways they get in your house. 1, if you open it up or a family member opens up the door. 2, oh, we got a phone call. Okay. Good evening, and this is Bob Pace. You reached the live stream of Fight CPS and Stop Taking Our Children. How can I help you?
Hello, hey, Bob Pace?
Yeah, this is Bob Pace. Who's this?
Hey, this is Gabriel Hernandez. I got your number from like his brother-in-law.
Oh, okay.
I have an open CPS case, and I just feel like they're kind of taking advantage of me and my girlfriend. We're young parents, and you're just making us jump through these hoops or threatening to take our kids when we really haven't done, I feel like we haven't done anything in the beginning, you know?
Well, okay. First of all, what is your first name again?
Gabriel Hernandez.
Gabriel Hernandez. Welcome, Gabriel. And what part of the world are you from?
I'm in Santa Clara County, San Jose.
Okay, you're up in San Jose in Northern California. Well, I'm glad to have you here, Gabriel Hernandez. And what first happened with CPS? What was the first time that CPS and you talked?
First time me and CPS talked was we got a call from them probably about maybe like sometime like November, December, saying that it was from they got a referral from our doctor that our daughter, my stepdaughter, my girlfriend's daughter, we have 2 kids in the household. She has a lot of health problems, and in the beginning, you know, when she was young, the doctor misdiagnosed her. So, you know, we didn't think that health was that serious. And then once we seen another doctor, they started saying she had a lot of health problems. So, you know, we were just missing a lot of appointments. So I guess we got the doctor. One of the doctors wrote CPS and said that we were neglecting her health.
Okay.
Serious health needs.
Right. You see what the doctor has to do. He is what's called a mandated reporter. All the professional people are trained, and if they recognize a suspected abuse or neglect, they have to let CPS know. So that alerted them. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Gabriel. Yeah. And
so we had a public health nurse come, and you know, she has my daughter has. Hold on, my girlfriend explain what she has to you.
Okay. Hello, and you're the girlfriend of Gabriel. What is your first name? What is your first name, ma'am?
My name is Jasmine. I'm the mother of Jocelyn,
okay.
the kid in question for CPS. So, in the very beginning, my daughter was diagnosed with SOD, septic optic dysplasia, and it was a new diagnosis to us. I didn't really know how to handle it, so I ended up missing a couple of specialty appointments, but I made all of her pediatric appointments. Since then, we
1 moment, please. What was the disease in layman term? What's it do, or what happens?
It's called, in layman terms, she has 2 cysts in her brain, left-sided weakness. She didn't start walking until she was 2 years old.
Okay.
I noticed that was a problem. Yeah, so I noticed that was a problem. I was talking to her doctor about it. We were in communication. Her pediatrician, her regular pediatrician, they made a lot of specialty appointments, such as, you know, going to neurology and maybe physical therapy and other specialty appointments like that, because, you know, she didn't walk until she was about 2 years old.
Yes.
Well, I was in contact with a pediatrician. I asked them to assign us a public health nurse, which she did. During the time, they didn't have our correct address on file, which I always let them know that was our mailing address. She kept trying to go to the mailing address, which is my mother's house, and after a while of not being able to make physical contact with me, contacted CPS for medical negligence, and had a CPS emergency response worker come and check in on Jocelyn, which I gave them my updated address. They did come to the home and check on her. We had 3 visits with the emergency response worker. She had asked if she had said that she was going to decided to close the case because she just seen it was just a really bad miscommunication. when she decided to close the case, she had asked us if we wanted to do voluntary non-court services with social services. And we agreed to, yes, we'll do it because we just want to do parenting classes, and it was going to help us with, other services that we needed, whether such as groceries and other opportunities that we could gain for access from. During that time, we had signed paperwork to say, yes, we want to do the social worker services. We actually had a social worker come over to our house and then immediately started asking us that they saying they wanted us to start doing drug tests. They want to start doing this. When we told them that we didn't want to do any of this, it's actually making us seem like we're in trouble when in reality we're really not. That's what we had thought. So at that point, they tried to tell us that they're going to come and take our kids away because they have enough evidence to say that we have medical negligence to our daughter, and then also to our just newly born son who's 8 months old. So they had threatened to come take our kids after that, and if we did not join back the voluntary non-court services.
Now, Jasmine, did you know?
Jasmine,
did you know?
Go ahead, Bob. You just wanted to explain.
Yeah, she did. She did a good job. Jasmine and Gabriel, did you know that CPS is making trillions of dollars a year off us by making up stories? They're not transparent. They're not true. They finally found that you probably, maybe to them, you looked low income, but you probably thought you weren't going to hire a real attorney. And so
we are low income. We stay at a low income apartment. The whole time we were in the depression.
But that's
after the
right.
public counselors came.
Gabriel, that's not a sign of a bad parent. In fact, right now there's been a new law passed recently in January. After 15 years, what they've done now is that they have said being homeless is not necessary to take your child away, or to be low income is not necessary to take your child away. You see, what they do is that since it's a very expensive business and there's no accountability, the federal government sends billions of dollars to the states, and the state sends millions of dollars to the counties, and the city, county, and you're up in what, San Jose area?
Yeah.
Right. So in the San Jose area, they are making a fortune off you, and they're orchestrating and all this up. They're tricksters. They promise one thing and do another. You cannot trust them. And that's why you need an attorney. An attorney does cost money. I know it's very expensive. I had to sell my home to get my attorney to work for me. I'm not asking anybody to do the same, but it is hard. It's hard when you have those court-appointed attorneys and you have to kick them in the butt. You have to tell them either you work for me and get my children home, or I'm going to sue you for negligence, and I'm going to report you to the state bar in Sacramento, the state of California. I'll report it and you'll get your license taken. So with that being said, you can get some activity out of a court-appointed attorney. You can also replace them. You go to the courtroom where you're at in that building, there's a place called the court-appointed attorney office. You go in there and tell them your court-appointed attorney isn't working for you. You want another one. So you at least try that. I know those aren't the answers, but what has happened is they've misled you and got you trapped in the system. And when you start telling them no, or tell them that they'll leave you alone, they're going to get more and more nasty to you. They're going to end up doing more and more stuff to you because all they want is money. They don't care about you as a family or family reunification. They're very corrupt there, that group in that county near San Jose. I don't know what is the county called in the San Jose area?
Santa Clara.
Pfeiffer?
Santa Clara.
What is it called?
Santa Clara County.
Oh, Santa Clara County. Well, that's a very wealthy county. I don't understand why the CPS would do what they're doing, but I'm sorry that happened to you. I really am. And so now you're faced with...
Can you tell me my options, or where do we go from here?
Yeah, well, that's why I got to try to understand your options. Right now, have you signed a safety plan?
I think we have.
Okay. It's a promissory plan. The only trouble is they loop all kinds of stuff in there that you don't read the fine print. Where are the children, by the way? Where are the 2 children, by the way?
They're with us.
Okay, the children are still with you. That's really good news
Yeah.
to hear. A lot of times they'll put them in foster care. And if they need to place your children, go ahead. What did you say?
The whole thing was, we agreed. We let the lady in our house, and she started saying, "Okay, yeah, we'll go through this. We'll make a plan, like basically a setting goal plan, and then also we want you guys to drug test." I'm on parole. I recently got released from prison. My girlfriend doesn't really have no drug history, but they said they were going to make us drug test, and if we refused, then they were going to basically get a warrant to take the kids away.
Well, yeah, but what you can also do is you can go to your doctor and do your own drug test. They can do yours, but at least you have a measurement in case theirs is false, in case their drug test is wrong. You need to do a backup plan.
So, yeah. The only thing is we just don't feel that we need to go through all of that. We haven't. We missed a lot of appointments in the beginning, but we've been on it as of about 2 months, maybe 2-3 months.
Right.
We haven't really missed appointments, but they're still on us, making us drug test weekly, making us see the kids 2 times a month. You know, a lot of hoops to go through.
Well, you're one of the rare parents that has still custody of the kids. Most kids are taken, even though they're not in danger, by CPS because they get more money if the kids are in foster care. They generate about $20,000 per child per month. So 2 kids, that's $40,000 that the county will get from the state. And so it's really, really important. I'm glad that you have your kids. Anytime they talk about removing your kids, make sure you offer them to stay with kinship. They can stay with your brothers, sisters, your grandparents, your mom and dad, whatever, and they can stay. Don't ever let them try to go in foster care. You have a right to put your kids with a family member. Now, have you had your trial yet and found that you're guilty or not guilty? Have you had your trial?
That's the thing. It's not. It's non-court. We signed up for it because they said it was non-court voluntary social service workers.
Okay.
Social services. Yeah. So we agreed because then it was voluntary and it was non-court. The name of their company or whatever the hell is non-court. It's fit in their name. The lady came down and she started talking about getting drug tested and like making us go through these weird hoops. And we said, no, that has nothing to do with it. It's voluntary. And now she keeps on saying, we haven't got a court number. We haven't got anything, right? Yeah. We have no court number, no nothing. But once we refused the drug test, she said, okay, we talked to the supervisor. The supervisor said, okay, well, if you guys keep on refusing, we're going to get a warrant from the judge to go take the kids tonight. And we had nothing to do with drugs. I went to... yeah, the case is medical negligence, you know, because we missed a lot of appointments. And our daughter's 4. We missed a lot of appointments in the first couple of years, maybe, the first 2 years. But as soon as we started disagreeing, they said they would get a warrant and come take the kids that same day. But we haven't got a court number or nothing. We never went to court.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm still here. What I'm doing is I'm typing in Santa Clara to see what they say. See Clara, CLARA. Okay. Are you in what's called a transitional family service?
No. Yeah, ours was non-court voluntary social services. That's the place we went to. That's the place that was hounding us about this.
Yeah, I'm looking at see if they can tell me some information. They talk about transitional family. That's alternative family services. I don't know if that's what you're dealing with. Do you know the name?
No.
Do you know the name?
Of the people that are like talking to us?
Yeah, not their physical name, but the name of the group they represent.
Yeah, Santa Clara County Social Services.
Let me go there. What is it again?
Santa Clara County Social Services.
Santa Clara
Clara
County
Social Services.
Social Services. They said nothing about the child protection services, huh? Well, that's interesting.
No, it's what is it? DS. No, I'm sorry. DCFS, Department
Child
Child
and Family Services. Yeah, these I know that's the name of all the CPS are different there. So
Yeah, that's the name of the people, I believe.
Department of Children Family Services, DCFS.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Department of Family Children Services, Santa Clara County. That's who you're dealing with, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm there at their website. And okay, they have programs now. Resource Family Approved Program, is that what you're in?
No, we're in, non-court voluntary services, maybe? I mean, they never really told us the name of what program we're in. They just basically came to our house one day, and we thought it was voluntary the whole time, and they basically came to our house like, well, you guys got a drug test once a week from now on. We got to see kids twice a week. You got to do twice a month. You guys got to take this parenting class. So, it was just all a surprise to us. And then when we went, for the next 6 months, they said, till I think we've been on it for a couple months. It ends in July. And we literally had to test. Every week we're constantly driving to my daughter's doctor's appointment and everything, and plus we gotta go test.
Who pays for the drug test for the county? Who pays for that?
They do.
Okay.
They send us. We call a number every day, and they'll basically say, "Oh, you go test today. We'll go to a site and just mouth swab, and that's it."
Okay, keep doing that. That's you're lucky, because a lot of agencies will do a lot more severe. They do a hair follicle, or they may do other things like that. So that's not bad what you're doing. Have they told you what parenting classes you have to take?
What parenting classes?
Yeah, you said, are they requiring you to take parenting classes?
Not really. They're just telling us, they're giving us like resources. They gave us like parents helping parents type thing, support groups.
Okay. What about programs? So they giving you a domestic violence program, or a drug rehab program, or alcohol program? Are they giving you any programs?
No. At first they tried to say, like I said, because I was recently released from prison. They had told me that I needed to take drug and alcohol classes, but then I told them that I don't have no history of drug or alcohol, and it wasn't in my parole terms. So we had told them that, and plus I had no history of it, so they kind of just edged it out. Really, the only thing they're making us do right now is just drug tests every once a week and see them twice a week.
Okay, hold on a second, Gabriel. I need to address people that have come into my room. Leica has said, but there are us who are innocent and are children only sustained damage because of this. That's Leica from South Africa. Then JD, who's from Los Angeles, California, says, "Hi, Bob. JD, Leica, did you sign anything?" He asked. And then we have attended Eve come in, and he is from California, and he has Vincent Davis. Then we have JD again. If you sign anything, you need to address that immediately. That's very important, JD says. Rescind all signatures as soon as possible because you have a signed contract. Like it says, question, if our child is placed by your brother or sister, do they receive any financial support from CPS or the government or not? It all depends. Sometimes there's financial support from CPS to people that are like foster care parents are given some money. As far as family members, it all depends on the agency and where it's at. So, Leica is in a state, JD. Leica is in the country of South Africa, in the province, the West Province of South Africa. She's about almost 5 o'clock in the morning right now, JD. She's far away from you. Who volunteered, JD? What do you mean volunteered? I don't understand. Leica says, Uncle Bob, will you please get a pen and write the following name down? NG Welfare, Parthren, Northwest Province, South Africa. So she's in the Northwest Province. And I will write that name down, Leica, and I'll look it up. Sergio, welcome, Sergio. Hey, don't give up on kids, never. I agree with you, Sergio. And what part of the world are you from, Sergio? So we have an interesting room tonight. We have on the phone Gabriel and Jasmine. Their parents up in Santa Clara, California, that's Northern California, and they have a volunteer program that they're enrolled in where they get to keep the kids at home, which is very unusual and very new. Most times kids are taken out, but they're supposed to take drug tests and do, I guess, what you're asked to. Do they have a time window, Gabriel, on how long this is going to be?
No. July. I think it's
okay.
Maybe 6 months. We've been on it for a couple months already.
I think so far you're in good shape because it hasn't got that too far ahead compared to a lot of other cases. You still have your children and maybe go with the flow and let them do their thing and make their fast bucks off you. Main thing you got to do is you got to be careful what you say. Don't talk to them excessively. Don't divulge anything. Don't give them anything. Just be polite to them. Say yes or no answers, because anything you say will be used against you. So you got to be careful what you say. You have to be careful what you say. They're tricksters. And 1 minute they'll say one thing and the next minute they'll do another thing. And maybe this outfit in Santa Clara is not as bad as I thought they were. And you're very lucky to a lot of other people. Usually when CPS gets involved, right away they take the kids when they're not in imminent danger. They took my kids and they're in school. They weren't in imminent danger. And of course, they made up all kinds of falsified lies and stories because they wanted to get money. They make money by having kids in foster care. They make money by having you being investigated. They get additional funds. And so it sounds like it was a volunteer program that got you in. Keep working with it, but be careful. Make sure you document everything. Anytime you have an incident with them, record it. Record it, the date, the time, and the people involved. Then do a summary of the incident, a 1-sentence summary, and then do the outcome when it's over, a 1-sentence summary. And record it there and keep records because you got to be careful. You can't let your guard down. You can't trust them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Now, Sergio's from Upland, California, and so that is good. Like it says, JD, I signed nothing. When they ripped off my child from my body as the two of us were holding on to each other. Yes, JD, she had a horrible experience where the police ripped a child from her. The South African police did. Now, you all are listening. I do have people from around the world, so cultures are different, but it's very important. Laikla is a regular listener in here, and she's been fighting to have her child back. And she still gets nightmares of that moment and awake because of crying fiscally. Yes, like I know how emotional you are and how bad it is. Laika's talked on her show, by the way, from South Africa. And she has been with me for at least a year talking on this show. I have a lot of people that come here and listen all the time. I'm so glad that Jasmine and Gabriel have called in about their case up in Santa Clara, California, and that you're sharing your story because you're going to help others that are listening. You really do help one another when you guys share your stories and you help one another. JD likes the help from Los Angeles. And so he loves to come in and help too. And so that's good. And Attendant Eye does the same thing. Attendant Eye is one of many names, so I get confused with him because he'll come on one name one day and one name another, and then he'll talk a mile a minute. But anyway, I'm so glad. Now, my other question to you is, have they been nice to you? I mean, how have they been towards you?
We kept on refusing to do the drug test, and then we were fighting it for a long time. And the lady that we were dealing with, she kept on saying that we had to do it. So we finally said, let me talk to your supervisor, your boss. And we spoke to the boss, and she basically said that we had a lot of medical neglect, and that if we didn't do the drug test, that they already had grounds to get a warrant and take our kids.
Yeah. Well,
so that was a while back. Since then, we've been doing drug tests for about like 6 weeks at least.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing we've been passing or anything. We just feel like we were just ambushed that we don't deserve it if we ever have to go.
Well, I find out that sometimes it's best to do what they ask and don't try to fight them because you don't have the money to get a high-powered attorney in there to fight your case. So it's best to just go with the best you can, but document everything they ask you to do. Write it down. Keep track of it. Keep track of anything, an important thing, because later on, if it does get worse, you may need it to use with your attorney that you may have to go out and get. Now, I'm not saying you need to get one, but so far, if you're not in court, you're not dealing with court issues, there's no need of an attorney. But it sounds like you have the case under control there, Gabriel. And I'm so glad that you and Jasmine have opened up about your case and you shared your case with everything in the room here, with everyone in the room.
Yeah, thank you very much.
One thing you got to be concerned about is be very careful when you talk to other people because loose lips sink ships. I know that's an old saying, but you got to be careful what you say because you don't want to go down with your ship there. So be careful what you say, be respectful, try to look at what they're doing and try to write down the things are. And also I recommend you that you come to my show. I'm on twice a day, 7 days a week. I have my morning shows at 10 o'clock in the morning on weekdays. On the weekends, they're 8 a.m. In the evenings, it's all at 7. So if you keep in touch, I'll be able to help you.
How would I tune in?
Well, you find me on Facebook. What you do is you go to Facebook and type in Fight CPS with Bob Bass, and they will tell you.
All right.
Now, Deidre Payne, hold on, don't leave me, Gabriel. Deidre Payne, who is from Orange County, California, who does live stream herself, she says to Laika, my mother, my maternal grandma, who has my 2 older boys and is their legal guardian, and my mother has received almost $2,500 a month for both my boys. So there was a question, Laika, in the United States and in Orange County, Child Protection Services. It looks like they do pay her maternal grandmother, I guess, who is the guardian, and she receives $2,500 from the government. Now, Deidre further says, and this money she gets every month has now become her financial stability in order to live. So yes, the relatives who have placement of the children definitely get paid every month for your kids. Thank you, Deidre, for helping me with that answer. So, Leica, that was a question you had. And so hopefully that helps you, Leica. Thank you all in this room for helping one another. Now, I have about less than 4 minutes left, so I'm going to be wrapping up the show tonight. But this has been very interesting. We've had Gabriel and Jasmine, who are from Santa Clara with 2 children, and they are actually on a volunteer program in the Santa Clara Department of Children and Family Services, the DCFS. And yeah, you're probably like your brother probably does get money from the South African government there for taking care of your children. He denies it, but I wouldn't trust that. So anyway, this couple from Santa Clara, sounds like they get it under control, which is nice. And I'm glad they shared the story with us. Deidre Payne does a live stream herself on Wednesday nights, and she comes into my show sometimes to listen and help out. Leica is a wonderful mother from South Africa that had her child ripped from her chest, and she's been on the show for at least a year. Now, Sergio is new. He came in tonight from Upland. Welcome, Sergio. JD's been on for 6 months. He's from LA, and he helps out a lot here too. And then we have Intended Eye, who I think is the same name as his other alias, but he has a case in LA, and he has hired Mr. Davis. And so I think I've covered everybody that's talked in tonight. Let me see, anybody else? Nope, I got it. And there was a Kingman, Arizona from this morning. Good mommy. Hopefully you're around, but you're somehow in this room here. So, you know, this show is here to help you all. And I hope you listen to what I have to say. If you need an attorney, you can call me between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. in the morning Pacific Standard Time, or 11 a.m. or 1 o'clock 1 a.m., and I can help you. I'm here to help you multitask. And I hope that you all, you know, keep fighting for CPS. Don't give up. Make your court-appointed attorneys work for you if you have one. So I want to thank you all for calling in tonight, Gabriel. And I think Gabriel and Jasmine have signed off because I'm turning off the show here. Yeah, Jasmine and Gabriel have signed off. So I want to thank you all for listening, for being supportive, and being constructive in this room here. And I'll see you again tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. I will be live again at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, and I want to help you. Remember, just write down what your questions are, and I'll try to look them up as best as I can. There were some questions tonight, and I looked them up and so forth. And so hopefully you got something out of today's show. God bless you all, and I want you all to keep fighting for your kids. And this is Bob Pace signing off.